Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Kathleen here. I wanted to pop in and do a midweek animal reading. I just feel called to do it. Lots of things going on right now, and I wanted to mention that I have a new program called the Animal Empath's Path. So for those of you who are feeling foggy, which happens to many of us when we're empaths, right? Because we're picking up on everything out there, and we lose sight of our soul and our heart and connection with ourselves, and maybe, our true desires in life. What's my purpose? My career, where do I want to live, my relationships, whatever. It could be a number of things. So if this is something you struggle with, I invite you to book a complimentary clarity, healing, and purpose call with me. Now, I thought the link would show up here. If it's not showing up in the comments, please message me and we'll pick a time. I do share a private complimentary wild animal wisdom message with you. This is not animal communication with your fur baby, but the wild animal wisdom. And, we talk about where you're at, look at 8 areas of your life, where things connect, where it's disconnected. So do feel free to message me and schedule that if you're stuck in the fog and you need to find your path in life. We all we all have this problem at some point where we feel stuck. So I wanted to mention that. And then I'm going to pull a few cards with some advice in these challenging times. It's a beautiful day here. I'd love to know, by the way, how things are where you are. It's been very dry here in the White Mountains in Arizona. I know it's Arizona, but usually in the summer we get some rain and it gets pretty green up here. But this summer has been extremely dry. I was talking to a 75-year-old mountain man up here who's been here his whole life, and he said this is the driest he can remember seeing it. So anyway, let's get some messages going. And yeah, feel free to say hi in the comments, whether you're catching me live with the red button or if there's no red button. I still love to hear from you. And I want to thank you for being here in this group. And you are very important to me. So I just want to let you know that. Let's pull a card here and see where we're at right now. Here's a good one. Hawk Spirit. Let Spirit be your guide. And, the thing that comes up here is it's not out there. We're not searching out there. You can't see my hand. I'm reaching out toward the mountains here. The guidance, this let Spirit be your guide from the hawk, isn't about finding it out there. It's finding it in here. It's getting out of our head and into our heart. As empaths, which I'm sure you all are here, if you are sensitive animal lovers, you have a powerful intuition that can unfortunately get muddled as far as clarity around yourself, which is why I'm offering that clarity call, because it's easy to pick up on other people's stuff and their wants and their needs and their desires. And then we get muddled. And so I wanted to share this message with you that spirit is within yourself. In my book called Lose the Diet, which I wrote probably 15, 16 years ago, I shared a quote from Edgar Cayce that said, God is not in any pope or building or pope or preacher, but in self. For thy body is indeed the temple of the living God. I'm not saying anything against, religion and church and all that. It's just we have a connection within ourselves. And, when we pray, we're not out there doing it, we're praying from within here, and meditating and that sort of thing. So find that connection within yourself and that guidance, that spiritual guidance that's there to guide you. It's like the hawk and their vision, getting that deep insight that's within yourself, that vision for your life. So if you're feeling stuck, where are you stuck? Feel free to share it in the comments. When I've worked with people around being stuck, it's usually one of three things. It's relationships, career and life purpose, which I put together in one, and where they're living. And sometimes they're all connected. So if you're feeling that somewhere, you're not alone. So let's get another message here. And this is Panther Spirit. Tomorrow I've got a new article coming out in the Animal Empath Journal, which I would love for you to subscribe to, because these are channeled messages of empowerment. And that's exactly what this says here, is reclaim your power. I used to actually do a regular webinar called Reclaim Your Power. But in tomorrow's article, please check it out, because I'm giving you some pointers on this. I'm an expert on reclaiming power, but the article is on being a doormat and how we have to get our power back. It's already written and ready to go. And I tell my doormat story, so you got to check that one out. If you've ever felt like a doormat, know that you're not alone. So I talk about how we can go from being a doormat to opening that door to our power, which again we find, within ourselves, of course. So I love this panther illustration, but reclaim your power. So yeah, check out that article tomorrow where I give tips on that. We as empaths, again, we give away our power accidentally, not on purpose. That's how we become disempowered, is, we let someone else control us sometimes because, we're trying to be nice, we're trying to be helpful, and unfortunately, we end up being disempowered, and they're dictating our lives to us. And, it can be in a career situation and many different situations where we become disempowered. It's when we give it away and we're not in our power. And boundaries has a lot to do with that. So, again, it'll be in the article tomorrow, and I mentioned it in last week's article. So go to that Animal Empath Journal and check it out. You can just look at the articles, and you can subscribe to get the article when it comes out, so it goes to your inbox. And also, if you become a member, I do share fur baby messages as well. So anyway, let's check out another card and see what we come up with. This one comes up every now and then, the frog spirit and clutter. It's almost like we need to hop around. It's like I can see the frog hopping around. We kind of almost need to hop around and pick up that clutter here, there, and everywhere. And clutter can be, of course, physical clutter. When we clear that up and get organized, it helps to organize our mind. When we see things all organized, we can feel so much better. It's like that, what was that woman's name? Hondo or something, I can't remember now. But it was all about, just keeping the things that have meaning for you and letting go of the stuff that doesn't have meaning. I was just had a website under my former name, which is now going away, and I was even clearing that digital stuff out. Like, is there anything I need here? Okay, get rid of that. You know, I'm in a different chapter now. So, clear the clutter digitally, clear the clutter in your space, in your mind. And I'm thinking about that one comedian. I think I mentioned her on one of the other messages I did. Maria Bamford. I just love her. And she was like, I want to hire a, what do you call it? An interior decorator for my brain that comes in and says, really? Fear of clowns? Are you still using that? Which I thought was hysterical. So what thoughts do you need to clear out in your mind? What digital stuff do you need to clear out? You know, is there stuff on your computer? There's this thing with, you know, Microsoft this fall. They're getting rid of, like, I guess it's Windows 10 or something. And my computer guy, this is how much I know about, you know, computers, right? You got to get like a whole new computer now. And so I'm thinking, since I'm going to have to transfer stuff, I guess I better just get stuff off my computer and delete it. If you've got an old relationship, I'm picturing my ex in my head, of which there's more than one, and, you know, pictures that maybe, you know, relationship pictures, wedding pictures, I don't know, stuff like that that's just kind of a thorn in your side. You know, now's a good time to get rid of that. You know, we've been going through this whole full moon phase, which everybody likes to talk about, you know, in the healing world, about decluttering during the full moon and all the eclipse stuff. So, yeah. It's all part of it again. It just comes up over and over again. Clear the crap out. Get rid of it. Okay. So good. Such great information. Let's do another one for this midweek hump day. Clear out, get organized, release whatever we need to let go of. You know, when I work with people, the first step is abundant clarity. What direction do you want to go in? And because you got to know what that is. You got to tap into your heart and soul and get clear on that. But then it's time to declutter all the stuff that gets in the way. Because what happens is, and I've done it myself many times, we get an inspired idea, right? I think I want to go move here, do this, do that. And next thing we know, something comes up to block us. And it's always based on a past experience. Well, wait, I did this before. I did something similar. You know, maybe this is going to go wrong again. And we almost want to like close ourselves up in a closet and shut the door and not go out there and make any more, quote, mistakes, right? We don't want to make any more mistakes because what if, you know, what if we make another mistake and it was all just a bad thing? But it's all lessons and it's how we learn, mistake or not. You know, there's learning and everything. So we got to get past the fear. We got to get past the beliefs, you know, whatever blocks we throw in our way to stop ourselves. Because the mind also wants to save you from yourself. It's designed that way. It's designed to keep you safe. It like goes back to whatever the hunting caveman thing of, you know, being eaten alive by something. And, you know, you need to be safe. So we're going to warn you. So it's all part of that, you know, nervous system stuff that puts up blocks and barriers. So part of our journey in life is to take down those barriers. You know, first we need to get clarity on where we want to go, but then release the barriers that can be getting in our way. Okay, so let's do another one and just see where we're at now. Might just do 4 today. Take time out. This is the brown bear, which of course, you know, we're talking about hibernation, right? Taking a time out, and I mentioned this in tomorrow's article in the Animal Empath Journal. I even mentioned taking a nap. How do we get clarity? It's about resting our mind, turning off our mind, taking that time out so we can let our heart open up. And we can let our heart come out with the answers we need and get that mind out of the way, which is only 13%. It's not our powerful part, but our conscious mind, which starts throwing in the blocks. Sometimes it does come from a subconscious level if it's a deep buried belief, which is always great at building a wall. But for clarity, taking time out, get out in nature, take a nap, whatever you do. I have found that sometimes I'll go to bed at night and, of course, my mind is a bit muddled because I'm really good at analyzing things. You can ask my husband. He will say, yep, there she goes again on another tangent. I should have been a lawyer analyzing stuff. Instead, I analyze people and other things. But, again, our brain turns to fog. And then we go to bed, we go to sleep. Have you ever noticed this? Let me know in the comments if you notice this. You wake up the next day and you've got clarity. Or maybe you've eliminated one of those ideas that you had. And, you've got other ideas that make more sense to you. It's part of finding that clarity. But that's why hypnotherapy, which I was trained in back in the day and use as in the form of what it is, guided meditation, gets us clarity fast because we go deep and we discover the clarity we need. Okay, one more. I couldn't resist. We had this one before. It goes perfectly. I know I shuffled this deck, but the groundhog is saying time to let go. Whatever beliefs you're holding on to, whatever fears you're holding on to, whatever objects you're holding on to, maybe it's people that you're holding on to. What do you need to let go of? Which goes nicely with the frog. It's almost like the frog's jumping over the groundhog here. Clear out the clutter. Let go. So they go together very well. So this is an ongoing thing that keeps coming up. We're in that phase. Time to let go. Clear out the clutter. Great messages today. In case you missed it, brown bear spirit, time out. Time out actually helps us to let go and clear out the clutter when we rest and we're able to clear out the stuff in our mind. And then it helps us to get back to our power when we visualize, when we nap, when we go deep, when we get out in nature. Our power is deep. So taking that time out helps us to get back into reclaiming our power and letting spirit be the guide that comes from within. And I say within because it's the heart, it's the soul that we are connected to guidance with, which is what I'm using right now. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed those messages. There's gold in there. So I hope that helps you. Again, feel free to message me or find the link. If it's here somewhere, I will post it to your clarity call. I call it clarity, healing, and purpose, actually, for animal lovers. Get an animal message. That's a private message for you. We go over, what's going on in your world and how to get moving in the right direction. No pressure. This is a discovery call. So I'd love to chat with you if you're feeling the fog and if you're spinning your wheels and stuck treading water. I get it. I've been there, done that. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me today. I look forward to the next call and doing these more regularly now because that's what I'm feeling called to do. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.